Good day to all of you. Welcome to ODL session. This is Indian Economy class week 3 lecture 4. Today's class we are going to discuss about poverty alleviation program implemented by Government of India. Let us get into the class. As far as poverty alleviation program of India is concerned, we are following some direct principle which may lie down or implemented through states. Those schemes will be discussed in both the houses of parliament, and the main purpose of these program is to secure and protect the poor in the sense they may be socially, economically, politically backward, and this must be implemented in a proper channel from union government to state government to local government. So this program have three-tier system. In those days, this poverty alleviation program is based on the economic growth from 1947 till 1977. The government of India concentrate more on economic growth in order to eradicate the poverty. During 1970s, the government of India realized that only improving the economic growth or development will not eradicate the poverty. So, those 30 years, all the attempt made by the government of India is failure only. So, they want to change the methodology. So, they have given different approaches. So, their concentration moved to how to create more employment opportunity and some scheme to provide the food. This particular employment generation is divided into two categories. One is the urban side, another one is rural side. From urban side, there are many schemes. Some of them are mentioned: NRI, UBSR, PMI, UPL. NRI means Nehru Roger Yojana, and UPS is Urban Employment Scheme. PMI UPAP is Prime Minister Integrated Urban Poverty Eradication Program. So these programs are related with how to eradicate the poverty in urban areas. And there are some schemes which are implemented mainly for the rural area like REGP, PMRY and SJSRY. That is, REGP means Rural Employment Generation Scheme. PMRY is Pradhan Mantri Rojar Yojana. SJSRY is Swarna Jayanti Shavari Rojar Yojana. See, all these terms in Hindi, but their abbreviation are given in English. So these are the employment generation scheme in order to eradicate the poverty. This is one side. The other side is some scheme related to provide food to the public, because a person who is not able to meet the necessary like food, clothing and shelter, they are considered as a poor and they are below the poverty line. So the most important factor for the poor is to get the food. So the government want to initiate some scheme related to food supply. The first one is ICDS, that is Integrated Child Development Scheme, providing food to the children. And one more scheme, we used to call it as PDS, Public Distribution System, and MDMS, that is Midday Meal Scheme. So there are many schemes, these are the important schemes. So the government of India initially, that is after independence, 30 years, their concentration to improve the economic growth. Then their strategy has been changed. They try to increase more employment opportunity, not only in urban but also in the rural. For that, they have implemented many schemes, and simultaneously they have introduced many schemes to provide the food. Let us discuss some important scheme implemented by Government of India. Before that, we should know what is poverty alleviation is. A poverty alleviation is a set of steps taken in economic and humanitarian way to eradicate the poverty in the respective country. But there are many definitions. According to World Bank, if a person is living with $1.9 in a day or less, then he or she is living in extreme poverty. Currently, nearly 767 million people of the world fall under this category. $1.9 means 150 rupees, approximately 150 rupees per day a person is not having, then he is coming under the category of poverty line. So the targeted group for the poverty alleviation is $1.9. But according to latest released data, latest I can say census 2011, 268 million people in India are coming under the category of under poverty line. And there are many schemes implemented by the government to eradicate the poverty. Even though they have implemented, there are few packets of poverty because the actual scheme is not able to reach the right person because of many hurdles. The first things, there is no proper infrastructure facility, there is no coordination between the union government and the state government, and they fail to implement the proper scheme and approval is not there. And because of the political and social issue, some people may not get that particular thing because their illiteration, they are not able to understand the scheme, and even though they are eligible to get it, they don't know how to get it. Because of all these reasons, day by day, the number of people, that is human count index, is keep on increasing. The latest census is 2011 for India. Here, nearly 270 million people are under poverty line. But there are many schemes were implemented by Government of India. One of the best scheme is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Both House of Parliament have approved this particular thing in order to eradicate poverty, not only in urban but also in the rural. And the latest scheme is Startup India or self-help group. So these are all the new schemes in order to empower the people to come out from the poverty issue. Let me give some detail about the leading poverty alleviation program. In 1978, Integrated Rural Development Program (IRDP). This was the first successful poverty alleviation program. The main objective of this particular program is to raise the families of identified target group who are living below the poverty line. For them, they have provided some employment opportunity, and they have created ambience to do some self-employment, and they have provided some subsidiaries. So these are all the action taken in the integrated rural development program. It's a very successful scheme. And one more successful scheme was implemented in 1985. This scheme name was Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana. This particular scheme was introduced in the Ministry of Rural Development. The main objective of this scheme is to create a housing unit for everyone, along with providing 13 lakh house unit to the rural areas. Under this scheme, nearly 13 lakh thousand houses were constructed. And second objective of this scheme is to provide a loan at a subsidized rate to the people, very low interest rate, nearly 3 to 4% interest rate for their loan, in order to start a small scale or medium scale business. One more successful scheme was implemented in 1995, that too in the Independence Day. It is called National Old Age Pension Scheme, NOAPS. This is also implemented by Ministry of Rural Development. There are two objectives for this particular scheme. The main objective is to provide pension to the senior citizens of India of above 65 years or higher and living below the poverty line. One thing, they should have a minimum age of 65 and they have to provide the document that they are below poverty line. Then they will be given with a pension. And the second objective is to provide monthly pension of rupees 200 for those aged people between 60 to 79 and rupees 500 for the people aged above 80 years. So this scheme was given through civil supply. Those who are having the ration card, they will be getting that particular money. This scheme also very successful one. It eradicates more number of people. They move the below poverty line people to the above poverty line people. And in the same year, one more scheme was introduced, a National Family Benefit Scheme. The main objective of this particular scheme is to provide rupees 20,000 for the beneficiary who will have the next head of family after the death of the primary breadwinner. Suppose the breadwinner of the family is dead, then the government will give rupees 20,000 in order to survive. And one more scheme was introduced in April 1st, 1999, Jawahar Gram Samriddhi Yojana. This particular scheme was implemented through village panchayat. There are many objectives. The main objective is to develop the infrastructure in rural areas by constructing roads or starting a primary school or constructing a clinic or hospital in a rural area. For that, the government may give money. One more objective is to provide a sustained wage employment to the family belonging to below poverty line. Suppose they are considered to be below poverty line, one person from that family will get a job or the government will help to provide job either in a public sector or a private sector. And there are many other schemes are there, but I have mentioned few. At least any 5 scheme you have to give in your section C answer. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. I am Dr. S.Chandrachud, Professor in the Department of Economics, School of Management Studies and Commerce. I have shared my email ID and I have given my contact number also. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.